Airial, if I could marry her brain, it would be amazing.
If you need anything technical,
she is down to earth, she's fun, she's very easy to network with.
Anything systems oriented,
just anything web dev techie that I don't understand, Airial has swooped in and fixed. And she's my accountability bulldog.
She is a queen.
Anything infrastructure related.
She is helpful and she helps guide and answer all your questions that you have about growing your business and networking and getting started.
She gives me life. She just gives me life.
Airial Reynal is your girl. Welcome to the Trep Tech Podcast with your host, Airial Reynal.
I just want to marry her brain. She's a genius.
What is up, and welcome to another episode of the Trep Tech Podcast. I am your co-host.
It's gonna be fire.
I am getting interrupted a lot lately, but it's okay because Airial owns the place. Airial has decided to inform me as of this morning that we are having a very special guest on the show to do a couple of episodes with us. So we've got Rolanda Sumner here to talk to us about, on this episode, I guess we are going to be dishing about stuff that we hate in business, some of our pet peeves and shit. But before we get into that, Airial, Rolanda, what's up?
Hey. Thank you for having me on, guys.
I'm so excited to be on the mic with both of y'all because both of y'all are my biz besties. I'm just so excited. I don't know how in the hell this episode is going to go, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be fun and fire.
I made sure to plug my laptop into the wall for this one because I know we're going to kill the battery. So how do we want to do this? Like, do we want to just line up and shoot them down? Because I know I could list off 100 things that aggravate me to no end in business, but I'm kind of curious. Airial, who do you want to go first? You pick, you're the boss.
Let Rolanda go first since she's our guest.
Okay, first of all,
Thank you.
before we do, Rolanda, who are you? Why should people care?
People should care about me because I'm Rolanda. That's usually where it stops. However, I'll give you a little bit more.
Thank you.
Military transition coach and a leadership development consultant. And my brand is Life After Service Transitional Coaching, or LASCO, and I help women veterans start their businesses from scratch.
Shit. And your Instagram is tight as fuck. So anyone who wants to see a really nice Instagram, go check out Rolanda's Instagram. What's the handle, Rolanda?
I think it's either Life After Service or LASCO.
Yeah. So go check that out.
LASCO.
It looks awesome. It is so nice. So yeah.
And Rolanda is also the brains and beauty behind Business Launch Prep School.
So intense, by the way.
BLPF.
I love it that you're helping people validate their ideas and test the market to see if it's even wanted and making people to do all the ugly shit they try to skip.
And they end up having to do anyway if they don't do it first.
Yeah.
Rolanda, you want to start with that? Because I know that's one of your pet peeves.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Why Business Launch Prep School? Why Business Launch Prep School? Why are you doing it?
Because when I started my business, I didn't put any thought into it. My sister and I had an idea that we thought we formed and we didn't. It was just us making body butters in 2 separate states. And I had gotten fired from my job. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start it without you. I didn't put any thought into if it was going to fit into my life, if I wanted to make products in the middle of the night, how much it was going to cost. I really didn't put any thought into it. And so 2.5 years after I had started it and it was starting to actually pay for itself and the trademark was done and I had branded for the umpteenth time, I woke up and was like, this is garbage and I don't want to do it anymore. It wasn't a bad business, but it wasn't right for me.
I hear that, yeah.
So I want to help other people avoid that by actually identifying what is right for them and what is right for their life so that when they start their business, they're not one of the hundreds of thousands of people who close it because they didn't want to press hard enough to fix an issue.
Doesn't it blow your fucking mind how many people don't want to?
I know. You put all this money into it. What do you mean you don't want to? And I get it. but why not start from square one?
Yeah.
And what I'm finding is that when you try to have that conversation for them to dig deep first, they're like, oh, but I want to launch right now. But you're not ready to launch right now. Like, do you want to spend thousands of dollars so you can figure out this wasn't right for you because your mama told you had to do it? Or your auntie said, okay, here's a get rich quick scheme that they're not getting rich from.
my
So
my
I'm here to
favorite.
help them do that.
I love it. I love it because my favorite thing ever is because when I was younger, like no one approached me with business ideas. And now that I'm a little older, like everyone's got a business idea they want me to hear. And everyone starts the conversation with, I've got this great fucking idea you might want to invest in, or you might want to team up or partner me with, or you might want to help me with. And they've always got this quote unquote great idea. And the first question I usually ask in return is, who told you this was great? And you immediately watch people crumble. If they don't have an answer to that question, who told you this was a great idea? Because, like, let's face it, a great idea comes tested. The market told you it was a great idea, not your auntie or your mom or,
What got me is, like, immediately when I was networking with people, because I was new and I wasn't really making money at first, nobody does. It was like, oh, well, why don't you do this, idea that's going to help you make money while you build your business? But nobody ever tells you you need to put in as much time into that idea, that MLM, that different whatever, to make it grow too. It's not as easy as going up to somebody and saying, here, buy these products while I work on my products. Like, no, if I divide my attention from my passion, I'm not going to ever make my passion anything I want to make money from. So
yeah,
why don't I focus on this first? And if I have time, I will go back to you.
Ariel, you ever understand the logic in that? Here, you want to make money at your business, do this other thing to make money, and like, what?
Yeah, and that kind of goes along the lines of whether to get a job or not.
Yeah.
And it always like rubs me wrong because I'm like, by the time I get a job, I'm exhausted because I'm spending all of my time there. So will I really have time for my business? And what is really wrong? Because usually, like, my thing was my mindset. So it wasn't that I couldn't make the money. It was just I wasn't, because I was in my own damn way.
You were terrified that you couldn't
Yeah.
deliver, so you didn't want to sell, which I personally think is super respectable. It held you back a little while, but now that you know you can deliver, you're a fucking all sales ahead. Like you're selling like crazy. So that just meant you didn't want to be a fake. What's wrong with that, right?
Rolanda, I think he wants us to have this conversation about integrity.
Yes, and there are certain things I'm not going to talk about, Ariel, but we can dive right in.
No, we're going to talk about it. This is the time to talk about it. I am sick. So me, no, fuck it. Me and Rolanda, we talk like all the time now. And one of the things that we found ourselves getting hung up with is the imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. Who am I to? And now it just got to the point where we're fucking pissed off because you have all of these charlatans out there who are fucking up people's lives. And we've gone through the training. We've done this for years. We've led soldiers. We've led soldiers in war. And I mean, it's like, okay, we are fucking the shit. I mean, why? We need to just do this now. And that's really how BLPS and Emerge came about. It was like, fuck all this. We're just going to do it now.
Yeah, I agree. And what gets me is I talk to, like, on a daily basis, I'm talking to different people. And the people who get me are the ones who claim they have all this going on, and they claim they have millions, and they claim, they're rich and famous, but you're calling for help. And at the end of the day, when it's time for you to ante up and actually pay for the help that you called for, all of a sudden it's like, well, I can't do it. Or, I said I make $150,000 a year on my business, but really what happened, like the truth starts stumbling out, or they get real nasty. And none of that was necessary. Absolutely none of it. Like the degrading or, treating people like they were crap on the phone because you feel some kind of way that your shit is not together. It's astounding how many people will lie instead of just tell the truth. Nobody's
I don't,
judging you. And for those
I
who are
don't
judging you,
get
go
it.
just go fuck off.
I do not
It,
get it. Why lie? And a lot of times you're not even asking them this. They're just voluntarily lie.
no.
It's like,
Yes.
really? It's like, can we be
Minute
real?
one.
And that's one of the things with Trip Tech. I said, Scott, we need to be transparent because a lot of us are going through some shit. But you got all these people that
Mm-hmm.
act like they make money like in 2 seconds. But now we're finding out they're just fucking lying.
I'm sorry, what was
Yeah.
that? I just closed a deal to do Elton John's podcast for $2 million a year. I'm shook.
Oh,
But you know, like I get it.
I
Like
was like, for real?
no, I'm being an
Yeah, you know,
asshole.
I
Like
paused for
those
a second.
like those people on the phone. I'm being an asshole right now. And the thing that drives me nuts is it's always sales calls that bring out the worst kinds of people. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. Like they're cool with you during the marketing stuff. They're cool with you when you're giving them shit for free. They're cool with you whenever. But the second you slap a price tag on what you do and you say, okay, this is what I'm worth, the worst kinds of behavior come out at that moment.
Oh my
And
God.
and the thing is like people the whole time they'll name drop their celebrity friends, talk about all the big events they
Yes.
went to. They're getting Botox so they have pretty cheeks, and they're getting their nails done, and they're getting all this. Meanwhile, it's all on a credit card. and the second
Mm-hmm.
and the second you say your price, they try to make you feel bad because they don't have the money.
You know who the worst people are? Coaches. Like, quote unquote, successful multi-million dollar coaches are the worst. Are the worst. Well, I'm actually making millions of dollars and I'm doing all of these wonderful things. And like, I spoke to Les Brown yesterday. We had breakfast. But you're like, but you called me for help that I can give you. Well, I don't know if I'm really coachable in this area because I've done everything that you're talking about. Like every single thing, I've done it myself. And
So
I
why
don't
the fuck are
understand
you on
like
the
why my
phone?
team, right? And then they're like, I don't understand like why my team won't stay because you're a shitty ass leader. I don't understand like, you know, why I'm not a millionaire because you're horrible with your books and you're not coachable. You know, I don't understand like why I can't scale right now because
Okay,
you suck.
so like
And you're probably not even certified.
I literally just brought on an accountant, right? And I was sitting across from him. We were talking, we were getting along, we were laughing. And he starts asking me questions about my books, right? Like, where's this going? Where did this go? Where did that go? And I started to get into my own head a bit, right? Because I mismanage my money like really bad. And I know that. And so he's asking questions. And now I'm at that moment where I'm like, fuck, I've got to own up to all the dumb shit I spend money on. Like today, I'm not ready to do this today to a stranger.
That's what
Right.
happened with me when we were doing that whole profit first thing. I was like, oh shit, I gotta face some realities. I'm not
So,
ready. Uh-uh.
but you know what didn't happen to me in that moment? It didn't pop into my head to call him a shithead and tell him he's too expensive for me and tell him that, you know, my friend Warren G has an accountant who would do a much better job and be much less, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't understand what it is about people where the second they say something that makes you uncomfortable, you have to bite, like, they have to bite your fucking head off. Or they have to, like, lie or try to maneuver their way out of shit when Rolanda's right. Like, just be fucking honest up front. You're broke? Okay, so is 3/4 of the world. I'm not going to hold that against you. Don't fucking lie to me.
Yeah, it's the
Right?
whole integrity. Integrity is huge and it encompasses so much. And that's what so many people are lacking. And I just really don't get it.
Yeah. It gets me when people will like, oh, I tried this program and I tried that program. I spent $36,000 on programs and none of them worked. And I actually called a couple of people out on it, like maybe it's you because you're spending a down payment on a home. You're buying a luxury car and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's probably you. It's not one person. It's like several heavy hitters. It's you. What are you not doing to make these programs work?
Yeah,
And
that's a
it's
big part of it.
mindset. It's mindset and not doing the work.
You know, it's funny because like I've had people literally like, yes, Scott, I'm gonna do the podcast, I'm gonna do it, Here's my non-refundable first month deposit. I'm going to go buy my mic. I'm getting the mic shipped to my house. The mic is in the mail, Scott. I've got it. I'm going to sit down and record. And then I never hear from them again. This happens on a fairly regular basis. And I'm like, man, if you would have just been upfront with yourself right away that you're not ready, you could have saved yourself $500 in the cost of a mic.
And you know what? I think that's where BLPS really does come in, because Rolanda helps people figure out, like, are you doing this because everybody say you're supposed to be doing it? Or are you doing these specific actions and taking these steps because it is aligned with you, your values, your vision, your business, et cetera, et cetera? Because people look and say, oh, I want to have a podcast. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. And there's no substance behind it, and they just think it's fun.
Just because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, everybody else is doing a podcast, so I have to. No, you don't.
And listen,
oh, everybody else is doing social media. I have to. No, you really don't. Like, should you? Probably, but there's people who make a lot of money without getting online.
And that's what we talk about. That's what we talk about in Emerge and BLPS is, okay, why are you doing all this stuff? Just sit the fuck still for a second. Stop buying stuff. Stop doing trials. Sit the fuck still and tell me why you're doing this. Because you're going to end up spending all of this money and you're not even using a damn thing. So just hold on for a second.
And those are the people who spend the money. That's not even fucking the Freeple. So don't even get me started on Freeple. But like, with the one thing I want to talk about, I want to bring up that Rolanda said about, like, it's because everyone else is doing it. Like, and Airial, you brought up the charlatans earlier. Do you know what a charlatan podcast coach or a charlatan podcast producer does? They float in and they tell these newbie people, oh, you want a podcast? Sure, pay me and I'll get you into New and Noteworthy. That'll be $5,000. And these newbies pay $5,000 to get onto a chart that can't even be guaranteed to them.
Right.
And these guys, they go in and they rake it in hand over fist. Or these producers, they'll work with hosts and the podcast could be absolute garbage. The host has no way of making money because the host thinks they're going to make the show, they're going to get all these sponsors and they're going to make money. And the producer's encouraging that, right? For me, it's like, you and Airial together are a big blessing because no one's going to come see me without a product that's already been market verified and a link to sell the damn thing. That's what you need if you want to be a podcaster. You need something to sell on the air. Or, well, if you want to monetize your podcast, you need something to sell on the air and you need a link to give to people. That's it. That's all you need. But so many people don't show up with those components, and then they waste years of their time, or they overinvest. They're like, well, you tune into the show. You've heard me bitch about the kinds of people who, have done shifty shit in the podcast industry, like trying to use their, cancer treatment money on a podcast. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, no, like, come up with a product and pay me back later. Like, don't do that. Like,
but a podcast.
I'm going to take it.
Hold on.
I'm going to take it a step further.
Wait a minute, Rolanda, damn it. But a podcast and any other marketing strategy or whatever, it needs to have a focus. It needs to have a reason, because it takes work to do this, and it takes work to get those sponsors. It's not just an overnight success bullshit. It's like a 10-year overnight success.
Well,
like, you've gone through all of this and then you wake up and it's like, I finally fucking got it. But it takes work.
You said it yourself. It's marketing. What are you marketing? It's amazing how many people I see every day out there, quote unquote, marketing. What are you marketing? You need something to sell before you can market. Like,
yeah. And you have to be consistent. And this is coming from a non-consistent podcaster. You're hearing it from me, y'all. You're not going to build an audience. Nobody's going to want to download. You're going to have something where the people who like you might tune in, but you're not going to get the traction that you think you want if you're not consistent. So you can't just put like 7 episodes out there and be like, okay, I'm going to sell t-shirts and then tomorrow I'm going to have $1 million. No, it does not work that way.
Too. You don't have a following. Like,
nobody even knows who you are.
And also, that t-shirt better be flashy as fuck if it's going to catch my attention. Like, you're trying to see, like, if you don't know who your audience are, like, you can't sell them a t-shirt. Because again, like,
they're not going to buy it from you if you don't have a target.
My stepdad was in the military for 30 plus years. He likes things with crests and chevrons and all kinds of crazy shit on it. Me, I'm more likely to go get something that looks like a tattoo artist designed it if I don't just wear a plain black t-shirt or plain white t-shirt. You know, my wife is going to wear something completely different. Like, you have to know people before you create products for people.
And then
Yeah.
you need to know what you're doing before you can figure out who you're serving, before you can figure out it. People do it. They do this shit backwards.
They do. And Rolanda,
You know
I'm
what? I
so
think that's
grateful
what
for
the problem is.
BLPS.
You're welcome. I think that's what the problem is. They're so interested in what they're going to give, but they never even identify who's going to get it. Like, is the person that you identified 3 years after you made it really wanting it? Do they need it? Maybe you should look at the people who want to who you want to serve first, because it's really all about service and you being compensated appropriately for giving them optimal service. But you don't know what optimal service looks like for them because you never identified them and you never asked them.
Rolanda, I'm going to step in here and tell you to cut these people some slack. They are too fucking busy to do that because they are designing their lead magnets for opt-in lists and email lists for products they don't have yet. No one needs your fucking checklist.
Scott, we've talked about that, and that's how everybody else teaches it. And I went through hell trying to figure this out. And then finally I said, fuck that, we're gonna come up with a signature / core product and then work backwards. Because that fucking lead magnet situation, and then you're not even
gonna lead to.
And then you're
they
not
don't even know what they're
about
getting.
it, right? You're not excited about it because
there's no money in it. Listen, if there's no money at the end of the rainbow, the fuck you doing? Like,
because folks think you're supposed to just spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars aimlessly and it'll all come together. And it's a common thought. I fell into that trap too. Like, I get it. But at some point you have to realize that maybe I should be doing it a different way. So maybe I should figure out who I'm going to serve, like who I'm going to actually take care of, and ask them what they want.
A real coach that'll say, hold on, wait a minute.
So can I ask you a question, both of you?
Hold on, listen. This is when you need a real coach. Like Rolanda will help you dig deep. And me, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Just wait a minute. Just stop. Do not do anything else. You do this one thing and don't do anything else. I don't care what XYZ and the mom and them said. Just do this and trust me, because it's a part of the process. Just trust me. Don't call me talking about you're doing a demo for this software, because if I can't figure out a fucking software, 99% of the people can't, because that's how techie I am, and I'm confident in my technicalityness, whatever the word is.
Your technical knowledge. But you know this, and by the way, this is why I call Airial when I need to get chewed out for something, you guys, because she don't care what my mom and them says. Like, I'm listening to her right now. Like, mama.
These are real conversations, people.
Yeah. This is literally what happens on the phone. And like, I love that you're telling people to stop, Airial, and just focus on one thing. Because like, you have a busy mind. You've been there, right? You've been all over the place trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to take care of this, trying to take care of that. And I'm like, Airial, simplify, focus, simplify, focus. And now you're simplified, you're focused, and shit is fucking working like a breeze.
Well,
like you just bam, 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 bam.
I'm really not simplified and focused.
Well, you're a great liar then.
No, I'm focused because I'm focused on Emerge and BOPS. Everything is Emerge. But so that's my focus. But because my mind likes to do a lot of different things, that's why Emerge is so robust as it is, because I get to do everything that I love, including the whole team collaboration thing. So
that is such a blessing. Oh my gosh. When she came up with that idea, I was like, oh my God, I have a network? Oh my God. Because like the pressure of having to come up with it by myself, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to learn something else. I don't want to go back to school. I was like, no, stupid.
Stop.
Right.
And then when I decided we were going to launch and we were going to launch together. And I kicked myself in the ass. I was like, what the fuck? And then so Rolanda was like, oh, but BLPS. I said, no, you have 5 or 6 people in BLPS because the emerge people are going through BLPS first because they need that foundation. And I know you're going to set them straight and you're going to do the coaching. So by the time they come to me, we run with it. Because
Yes.
That's
otherwise,
why coaches need coaches.
exactly.
And by the time I see them, they will actually have a sales page for a program that is worth something, which is so exciting. Like you guys are angels to me right now. You've been delivered to me on beautiful white pearly wings to deliver me a steady stream of clients who are actually ready for me. Do you know how valuable that is?
Saves you a lot of time.
It saves me all of my time because I know anyone being referred by the two of you have their shit figured out. And that's so important, right? Like, it drives me insane. So, question real quick. You guys have both been lost in the abyss with your like blindfolded wandering, trusting whoever came your way with the new software or new program. You've all fallen for shit, so have I. Now, how has having that market proven thing that actually sold, like that concept you came up with that sold, where you were just like, I'm going to do BLPS and people wanted it. I'm going to do Emerge and people handed you money. How has that changed your feeling about business?
Oh my goodness. It's like day and night. So with Butter Angels, I was in concentrated mastermind type groups and I was getting a lot of information fast from people who had done it. But I was just trying whatever they said to try. And for the most part, it worked, but it was expensive because, again, I didn't evaluate anything. So some of the concepts they were telling me, because I was getting it piecemealed and out of order, I was misusing it. So this time, with my coaching business, I had already had an audience I was talking to about coaching because I didn't like talking about skincare, which is a whole nother subject. So when I came, I was already talking to them and they were talking to me about all their different problems. And then naturally I was working with Airial because coaches need coaches. I needed to sort it out and figure out what I was going to offer. And so it kind of came together like this is what they need.
Yeah.
Because I had already been talking to my audience and I was already listening to them and they were telling me what the problem is. And they never came out and said, hey, the problem is I don't know who my target audience is. It was just conversations and reading blog posts and being in groups and listening. So it was easier for me to come up with a plan with some help because I had things already, written down and scribbled over here and there. And all I had to do was put it together so they can take it, so they can use it. So Airial has a bigger audience and she's been doing it a lot longer. So when she came up with Emerge, she knew that she had already pieced it together in her head. Like, okay, you'll start with them and then they'll come to me because they need to start with you first. So naturally she was like, hey, you guys need this service. So guess what? I'm going to upgrade you. And as I'm giving them the service now, they're loving it. I was nervous at first. She's like, why don't you test it? I was like, no, just put it out there because I was scared. But I'm glad I tested it because they're showing me areas that are weak. They're showing me areas that they really need more support on. I'm chucking things that I thought were good that are really not helpful. So testing is huge. And they're excited that they're part of the pilot and they're excited that they're getting this type of customized service. And so it's just motivating me to do better and provide a better product. But I couldn't have done that if I didn't know who I was serving and working with a coach who was able to help direct me in the right direction and support me and having, a target audience who's ready. Our students were ready.
They chased us down.
They literally gave you the money. They were like, how do I pay you?
They're like, here you go.
Like, shit.
I did a survey. So I had a vision for Emerge, and then I did a survey to see if I would get responses, and then offered the pilot. And then I had people respond, and I was like, oh shit. Number one, y'all are reading the emails. And I had people like, look, this is what I'm going to pay you. I may not be able to come up with it all at one time. This is what I'm going to pay you. This is how it's going to look because I've been praying to God for this and it came across my desk and I know this is it. we are going to do this. So I'm like, I told Rolanda, I said, oh shit, this is happening. And you're getting in with it too. Because they're
That's
going
gotta
to be
be
yes.
that's gotta be a big moment,
Within a week, we
Ariel.
had 6 people sign up.
Yeah, that's huge. Congratulations, by the way. That's a nice first week to have 6 signups to a program that costs what this costs, which isn't a whole lot, but when you consider some people struggle to sell like $10 ebooks, like you got to think
Yeah.
about like the accomplishment level. So if you haven't celebrated your victory yet, please do take yourself out for a drink or something. But
Oh, every day. And these our students are fucking amazing.
but
Oh my
Awesome.
God. They are amazing. Some powerful people. I'm telling you. Oh,
Yes.
just
We
wait.
got a couple of authors in the group.
we'll
Everybody's a speaker. We
we'll
got a
definitely gush. We will definitely
yeah.
gush. We'll make an episode specific to gush about the people who are in Emerge and BLPS. I just think we don't want to stray too far from the pet peeves, so I'm gonna do my host thing,
Oh yes.
reel us back in because y'all are getting all gushy on me, and that's not what today is about. So,
Yes,
so
sir.
big big question. Wow, I like that way more than I should have. Big, so I'm gonna sit here and blush for a minute, but big question here is, Ariel, after you got your whole clarity moment where you're like, this is Emerge, this is what people need, this is everything, did you look back and reflect and just like think about how much bullshit people put you through and people sold you and how many snakes you fucking fell for throughout your whole journey and just thought like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Because
But
I had that moment. I had that moment where I was like, holy shit, I wish I had Emerge when I started.
but you know what? And then when I talked to you, because you went on vacation, so we hadn't spoken in a while. And then when I ran it by you before I had it as structured as I do now, you were like, this is it, Ariel. Oh my God, this is it. And I'm like, yes, it makes sense because it makes sense in Scott's mind. Things totally different. But you know what? If I didn't go through all the shit that I'd gone through, I wouldn't have been able to produce Emerge. I just
Yeah.
because it came out of frustration, anger, getting pissed off because people have the lack of integrity, hearing
Mhm.
about people spending all of this money and not getting anything back, like on websites, on everything, and not getting anything
Mhm.
back, and just constantly struggling, and then having to go to 90 different million coaches because they don't talk about mindset, which is the thing that holds people back. So we're definitely going to
Mhm.
cover that along with the strategies and stuff. And then because I love the tech stuff, I mean, so if I hadn't experienced that and heard other people's stories, I wouldn't have been able to do Emerge. So yeah, it was a long time coming, but
Mhm.
now, dear Lord.
So you said something that is super important to me. And now that you guys have students of your own in the process, like I know you've both done coaching, like I don't want to make you sound new at this or anything, but now that you both have
Mhm.
students and you have this focus of helping them do it right the first time so that they don't get screwed over,
Mhm.
does it bother you when they tell you their stories and you hear how many people screwed them and that they finally found you after all this time because they were praying to God that the next person they found wouldn't screw them?
Yes. Because I really get wrapped up in who they are as people. So I kind of like secretly adopt them as my baby. So when I hear that one of my babies has been taken advantage of, or that they've been made to feel like they weren't worth what they should have been paid in the first place, then I get kind of aggravated because who are you to go up to someone and demand that you get a premium service, that you get a specialized service, because we don't have generalists in our team. They're specialists. And you want to pay nickels and dimes. You want to like bring them down to almost nothing. How are you going to do that to somebody? You want somebody to invest in you, but you don't want to put out the money that they're worth.
Yeah. I just think about your students and I think about the fact that like some of them have literally used the words like, I was praying for this and, I was hoping for this and I
Mhm.
needed this and I've been through this. And you think like you had done
Mhm.
it to you and you remember how bad you felt and how much pain you were in. And like you couldn't make rent one
Mhm.
month or you couldn't make the car payment one month or you couldn't do this, you can do that because that last person you hired screwed you. How does it feel to know you're going to put a
Yeah.
fucking end to that cycle?
Amazing.
It's like a huge, yes, pride, just pride. Like, yes, it is
Because
my job. It's my mission to turn things around for you.
and I'm telling people, I'm like, if you come through us, you do not need to go through anybody, because all of our coaches, anybody who's a part of the team, they've been vetted. They're full of integrity, even if we're just learning in there somewhere, full of integrity. And it's a different class of business owners and entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
We got all the aspects of BLPS and Emerge. We have it all, including done for you services. So they don't have to worry about getting screwed over.
Yeah. I love this because you guys have said two very important things right now in this line of questioning and talking about what pisses you off. You have explained to people, whether you know it or not, how you came up with a market validated idea and how you turned something that pissed you off into literally your exact words, a mission. So your purpose. So now you have a purpose driven, market validated business, which is what everyone aspires to have. Congratulations.
Well,
you're in it. This is the sweet spot right here. It makes money. It's your vocation. It hits your talent. You know that Venn diagram with the 4 things? You're in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. I'm in tears over here because I'm just like, wow. And I know it's it because every time we talk about it, and me and Rolanda talk about it all day, every day, I get excited each and every time. I'm like, this is it. Oh my God, this is it.
This is the thing about it, though. At the end of you going through BLPS and Emerge, not only is your business set up, but you have experience.
I love it.
So we set up on day one, like once you start with BLPS and Emerge, on day one, like you get access to the program, you also get access to an affiliate link, so you can earn 40% of your money back.
Nice.
So
right
if
out
you're
the
like,
gate.
oh, I don't, yeah, like how many times have you participated in something, it costs money, and then you're like, how am I going to earn this back? No, let's talk about how you're going to earn it back. Let's talk about how you're going to earn it back before you get started, because I want to make sure you understand this is more than money. Like, I have to pay my bills, so it's not for free, and it's bad customer service if I don't charge you appropriately. However, I'm really here to give you everything you need. If I have to come up with something new, I mean, Airial will tell you she had to stop me because I was checking module 1 again because I was like, nope, somebody else had a question. It has to all go. I will come up with something. I know Airial is going to come up with something for you because you need it, because that's how much we care about you. And along the way, you're going to get a paid internship opportunity so that when you actually start to do your business on your own, and you're never going to be alone with us, but on your own, guess what? You're not sitting down at your desk trying to figure out, what do I do next? Or how am I going to, book this client? Or how am I going to get paid? Or what payment, programs should I use? And, what does my contract need to say? Because
we're
between the 4 of us,
we're going to have all of that.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. From the minute I said hello to Airial and we started working together on our podcast, I have never worried about any tech shit ever again. And that alone was worth everything. All of the work, all the blood, sweat, and tears, like never having to go, oh shit, who do I know who knows how to do blank? I don't have to ask that question. I just go, Airial, can you do blank? And she goes, yep, leave it with me. Done. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So like even just that value alone, and then like I said, market validation is step 1. Everyone tries to jump over it, and that's a pet peeve of mine. And you do it and you set them up with it, so they literally, once they leave you guys, they have market validation, they have all the bells and whistles set up that they need, and then they come to people like myself or authors or book writing specialists or YouTubers or bloggers or whoever they come to for their content marketing. They already have the pieces in place to make money now instead of late 6 months from now or a year from now. So I really absolutely love it. And I love that you turned a bad thing, being pissed off about all this stuff, into probably, well, an answer to people's prayers, to use their words specifically.
Yeah, and I know this was supposed to be like more of a rant and pet peeve, but the things that have frustrated us is how we came up with the programs.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we just said we're fed up. Fuck this shit. We don't do this over here. We gonna correct it
No.
because we're sick of people bullshitting people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And being judgmental, because nobody wants to, you pay money and you're already afraid. You're in a vulnerable position because you're asking someone to help you with something you think you should know. So you're already in a very, delicate position. And then to pay them and they judge you, and make you feel like, oh, how come you don't know this? Or, just, flight you off and whatnot, I think is disrespectful, and there's no judgment.
Mm-mm.
It's, hey,
Empower
how is,
and tough love.
yeah. And guess what? Like, if you're having a bad day, you're like, look, I don't want to talk about that. I have done this to Airial so many times. She's like, okay, do you need coach or friend? I'm like, friend. Do you want to record it? No. Because my life was interrupting my business and I needed to get some shit straight. So it was nice to go to my coach, who y'all can't have, go to my coach and say, my day is 100% shitty, or, I'm going through a string of bad luck, and
And
be able to flush that out.
and don't ask me a fucking empowering question or I'm gonna hang up in your face. That's what you would say. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
girl. All right. So girl, really? What
That's
girl?
why
That
that's why you
happened?
can't coach a coach. Just like a shrink can't shrink a shrink, a coach can't coach a coach, because you know what's going on. You have to level with each other as friends and professionals.
Well, she does. She
Yeah,
flips
you
the
can
script.
coach each other, but you have to want to be coached,
Well,
Yeah.
but
So,
the other part of it too is like Ariel and I have our best moments when we're not on professional calls. When we just call each other as friends, that's when the most good shit
mhm,
happens for us in our business. Like, because we're just
yeah.
laughing and joking and we're in a good place, or we're venting and we're frustrated. And the next thing you know, because we've cut through all of the formal bullshit, we're able to get right to the point with each other and dig down. And like, literally, I've told Ariel some days I don't want to deal with her because of like, it's the mood I'm in. I'm in a bad mood, and she
Mhm.
gets on and she's all bright and peppy and this and that, and I'm like, oh god, I don't want to get on the mics today. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have the energy for that. And sometimes like she's dog tired and I'll be like, primed and ready to record, Ariel, and she'll be like, not this week.
No,
And
sir.
we haven't.
We
And
won't do this.
today we messaged each other at the exact same time. I was like, oh, we're doing this.
Yeah, but if I got at her in a judgmental way, Ariel, what the fuck? We said we were going to batch record. You're
No,
not showing up this week. But what would that do
the
to our
show would have
relationship?
the show would have been over.
Yeah.
No, the show would have been over because I'd have been like, well, fuck you, and all this kind of stuff would have come up.
So
But
keeping
it's like,
judgment
Mhm.
out is where the best work gets done.
yeah. And me and Rolanda,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, a conversation. I will be a coach for a second. She'll be coaching me. We're girlfriend. We're ratchet mode. I mean, it's
Yes.
like one. Let's be honest, in one sentence. And then like when she coaches me, which after she just tells me what I'm gonna do,
I just don't
she's
even
like,
ask her.
look, no, this is how much it's gonna cost. But wait a minute,
Scott, how many
no.
times have we had to have this conversation
Yeah,
of her
see,
pricing?
that's why I'm super grateful
How
for
many times?
you, Rolanda. I'm super grateful for you. Because like I can say what she's gonna price shit at, but she'll just go, you know what? I'm feeling this, and I'm like, okay, fine. Feel whatever you
No,
want
it
to,
wasn't.
price whatever you want to, but you could just be like,
It
no.
wasn't even one conversation. It was like over and over and over again. So I had to fix her, right? On my sales page, I made a platinum plan, and then I added her pricing onto mine. And she was like, but Rolanda, isn't that kind of high? No.
Yeah, I was like,
It
how
is not.
is value when
Because the
I
math
was like,
didn't
you
add
know
up. I was like,
that's
I
wrong,
can't afford
right?
not to take my price. Okay, what I
Listen.
can't afford is not to take my price. So what I'm gonna need you to do is go on and charge appropriately.
So
So
emerge and so
No,
emerge, which includes BOPS, is no joke. It is our high end
everything.
program, but it is so freaking worth it. And it wasn't anything for me to raise the price like you suggested, because by the time I
Hmm.
sat down and was writing the sales page and actually calculated the value, I was like, what the fuck was I thinking on the
listen.
original price?
Her emerge alone is 30,000, and mine's is like around 9 or 10. So together it's 40,000. We're only charging together like 5, and it's for 12 to 18 months of solid attention and service.
And everything that you could possibly need.
And by the time I got done reviewing the sales page, I almost wanted to pay you $40,000 to shorten the fucking thing. But I love it. For everybody who is listening in, I'm going to draw this episode to a close because we are getting on time. We're definitely going to jump into another one next week with Rolanda, so be sure to join us again for that because she is fantastic, as you've heard. But yeah, go check out Emerge, go check out BLPS because they were born out of a pet peeve and a lot of pain. And they have grown into a mission and a passion, helping business owners finally get their shit straight with a business that sells right away. And I think that's what we all really, truly want anyway, at the end of the day, isn't it? So you owe it to yourself to go check that out. Airial, thank you so much. Rolanda, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
It's time to emerge.
See you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to the Trep Tech Podcast. But if you like what you heard, go on to Apple Podcast and bring her a 5-star review. And also, if you want to check out her service while she transforms mindsets, navigating entrepreneurship, leveraging technology, building relationships while bridging the gap in your business, check out TrepTechAcademy.com. That's TrepTechAcademy.com.